Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Is up.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome, everybody, to the final show of the week. Wrap it up in style on a 22nd day of May 2026. I am Dom Izzo, host of said show. Welcome, everybody, to Hot Mic as we say goodbye for the week and getting ready for the holiday weekend. Lots going on. No shortage of that. Well, the holiday weekend, sports will take center stage. Obviously, we've got the North Dakota State track meet. We're going to take you live to Bismarck later on in our show, celebrate one of the local state champs who had one of the more impressive races you'll see. We'll do that later on in the show. We got, obviously, Stanley Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs rolling on. This is typically, for the baseball nerds out there, this is the defining line of the year if you're in or not. If you are roughly in the race come Memorial Day, then you've got a chance to win it. And if not, depending on how far you're out, then typically it's curtains for you in terms of being contenders. Why that's relevant today, the Minnesota Twins open up a 10-game road trip with stops tonight in Boston, then Chicago, and then Pittsburgh before they're back home a week and a half from now. So by the time this is done, we'll know whether they're in it or not. They sustained a couple of injuries this week. Obviously, they've had some demotions as well. We'll chat about that with Cory Provus coming up later on in the show. Looking forward to that. We'll also chat with the newest commit for North Dakota State women's basketball, a guest we've had on the show a couple of times over and actually now knows where she's going to be playing hoops. We'll do that coming up a little bit later on in the program. There's no easy way to start today's show, and it's dominating all the sports shows or newscasts even. When you see it leading off like Good Morning America this morning, you know that's a sports story that transcends the sport that particular athlete is involved in. And that's the news last night that Kyle Busch died. And I saw it, and I had to look twice. It was right before I sat down to have supper with my family. I'm like, what? That's not right. And unfortunately it was. At 41 years young. We don't know the cause of it. Found out that he went unresponsive in the driving simulator in North Carolina on Wednesday. And several people saying, telling the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because details have not been disclosed by Bush's team or family. He was about as lightning rod a driver. I'm not a great NASCAR mind. I defer probably to Eric or certainly my dad on this. But I would tell you that there was, at least in the early days, there was no middle ground with Kyle Busch. You either loved him or didn't like him. It came to be a little bit more in my household because he drove the M&M car. And for my son, especially when he was like 2 or 3 years old, and he'd say, hey, Grandpa's at the race today. And my dad ended up sending him the Kyle Busch car, the yellow one there that he was driving, the M&M one. We still have it in our house to this very day. It's taken some shots from the Jackman, but he has it. And that's how I think for, at least for us, and probably for me a little bit more, grew a little bit more attachment to him. So to hear this is just just awful. He just won a race, a truck race. That's the car right there. Last week, and he's talking and he's got a young son as well, which just young family. It just makes it all the more horrible of a story here of what went down. Now, one of NASCAR's biggest races is this weekend in Charlotte. This is Memorial Day weekend. As we were talking about earlier in the week, that this is when auto racing comes full circle. With you got the Indy 500 is Sunday, and then the big race in Charlotte is Sunday night. The news comes, this is from ESPN story, 11 days after Kyle Busch radioed into his crew near the end of a Cup Series race at Watkins Glen, asking a doctor to, quote, give him a shot after he finished the race. According to the television broadcast, Busch had been struggling with a sinus cold that was exacerbated by the intense G-forces and elevation changes at the New York road course. He finished that race in 8th. He was at Dover last weekend, as I mentioned, won the Truck Series race, finished 17th in the NASCAR All-Star race with Richard Childress Racing, who used to own Dale Earnhardt's car. Denny Hamlin said, we just need to think of his family during this time. We love you, KB. It's funny because there was a time where he was about as polarizing a driver, I think, as you could have out there. And just a absolute gut punch for a guy that I think was certainly, like I mentioned, well-known. I'll defer to you. You're the NASCAR guy on this show. Tell me you heard this news yesterday. What went through your mind?
Honestly, I was in shock.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that at 41, he passed away. And it was just, you mentioned it in his interview. He was talking about at Dover that he won the truck race. He said, you never know when it's going to be your last. And I saw it. My buddy texted me, and I saw it, and I was like, "There's no way." It was. I had the same reaction when Kobe died. For how big of a figure he is in NASCAR, this is I would compare it to the Kobe Bryant one in NBA of how big of a deal this is. Kind of like Dale Earnhardt when he passed away. It's unbelievable, and he just celebrated his son's 11th birthday 3 days ago. So you just hug your loved ones. You never know when it's gonna end.
Yeah, it's just he had won in Indianapolis twice over, won the Brickyard there, 2015, 2016, and just a dominant driver that was as good as there ever was. And there's going to be a lot of heavy hearts in Charlotte this weekend. There have been numerous tributes. I would point one to Marty Smith from ESPN, had one on last night with Scott Van Pelt that was really, really well done, better than that I can do here. But just shock that is going to be over the NASCAR world here, which is supposed to be a celebratory weekend, and just as disbelief, like Eric said, is shock. Those are the words that are going to be used often here over the next few days. It's one thing, unfortunately, comes with the sport you sign up for, that if a driver passes from an accident, while horrible, they sign up for that. This is nothing like that. I mean, just again, you don't want to speculate. You have no idea what happened here, but clearly he was not feeling well, and whatever it was certainly got worse like that. And just a racing prodigy. That's the best way, I think, to describe him. And gone at 41. Just terrible. We'll see what happens. I'm sure NASCAR is going to pull out all the stops to honor him over this weekend for the big race, which is on Sunday night. Eric, what else you got?
Just for people that don't know and how hard it is to race in the NASCAR series, he had a streak going since he started of 19 consecutive seasons with a win, with just one win. And it's hard. I mean, you have drivers go 60 races without a win. To win one every year for 19 seasons, that's pretty good. He was very talented, and probably you're not going to see a driver like him for a long time.
Yeah. Maybe ever. Just the fact he was dominant. He just won in the truck race, which is, I mean, you can speak probably better than I can on this. How many of those guys of the NASCAR, or the guys that race on Sundays, still do that? Like race on Fridays? Not many, right?
I think, well, they kind of tightened the rules so they can only run 5 races down in the lower series below. So there's not many, maybe 8 or 10.
Right.
I mean, you have some guys that, like Carson Hocevar, who's ran the truck race series forever. He's still into that phase, so he can run as many as he wants. until you get to the playoffs. Then they shut him out. But probably 8 to 10 still do it. And he owned his own truck team for a long time. And it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the words that will be echoed, I imagine, for the next few days. And curious to see what NASCAR does for its race on Sunday. With that, there is no easy transition to see what else happened yesterday. As I mentioned, Twins were off as they were flying from Minneapolis to Boston. We're going to check in with Cory Provus on that in a little bit. The playoffs rolled on last night. The Knicks and Cavs played Game 2 of their best-of-7 series at Madison Square Garden last night. I'm trying not to get the cart too far before the horse here because there's still 5 games left in this series. But the way the Knicks have played in the first 2 and how they've played all playoffs, they've only lost 2 games. The Hawks beat them twice in the first round. Starting to get a little excited here. They have not been to the NBA Finals, folks, in 27 years. Madison Square Garden ready to explode. Last night, it was the Josh Hart show, who was effectively benched at the end of Game 1. He didn't play in the fourth quarter overtime. Well, he played last night and was sensational. Hits a 3 right before the half, put the Knicks up by 6. How about our guy Cat? We got to talk about that as well. Brunson feeds it. Hart with the dunk. Puts him up by 7. Later in the third. Leaves it here to Hart from Mikal Bridges for the layup. It's a 9-0 New York run. Later in the third, Knicks up 11. Brunson the dish. Hart with the 3. It's a 14-0 run. They keep it going. Brunson over to Bridges. Another triple. An 18-0 run to basically put this game effectively away. Brunson, that's his spot. Gets it to go. Leaned into contact there on James Harden. No foul was called. Lead is up to 12. Hart the spin in the lane and the finger roll finish. That's fantastic. He had an unbelievable night. Did Josh Hart last night. Crowd salute him as well. 26 points, a standing O. The Knicks win it, 109-93. They now lead the best of 7, 2 games to none, with the series heading to Cleveland Saturday night. Game 3 will be on WDAY tomorrow night at 7. We'll get Game 3 of the Thunder and the Spurs tonight. That series shifts to San Antonio, tied up at a game apiece after 2 thrilling games to start that series. By the way, the Spurs are a 1.5 favorite in that one. Just a quick word again on the Knicks. The last time the Knicks played in the NBA Finals, I'm getting the cart before the horse because I'm pumped about it. Larry Johnson was playing. Patrick Ewing was still playing. That was the strike-shortened season, or lockout-shortened season. Now I got to look here. New York Knicks roster, 1999. They lost to Tim Duncan and David Robinson and the Spurs. We could have a rematch here this year. Jeff Van Gundy was the head coach. Marcus Camby, Chris Dudley, Allen Houston. I knew Larry Johnson, Latrell Sprewell, Charlie Ward, Herb Williams. That was on the Knicks roster. And who else is on the roster? Rick Brunson was on the roster. Why is that important? That's Jalen Brunson's dad, who's now an assistant coach on the team. We'll see. Game 3 coming up, as I mentioned, tomorrow night. Meanwhile, in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night, we had Game 1 of the Canadiens and the Hurricanes. Now, mind you, Carolina had been off for 12 days, the longest layoff in NHL playoff since 1919. Didn't show to start. Carolina was great. Just 30 seconds into the game, they scored. Seth Jarvis thinking, all right, here we go. Carolina's going to roll. Montreal just played Monday night, won in overtime in Game 7. Except they didn't get the script. Cole Caulfield out in front, wires it home, and ties the game at 1. Montreal's got a bunch of young superstars, Caulfield being one of them, or Badger. Now it's later in the first. Again, this is just 2 minutes later. Philip Daniel comes in and scores on a breakaway. It's 2-1 Montreal. Freddie Anderson had no chance there. The onslaught continues. Again, we are in the first period of this game. I flipped it on in the second, and the game was over because what Montreal did in the first. Alex Terrier scored. It's 3-1. Again, Carolina came into this. They had not lost a game yet in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They had swept out Ottawa in the first round. They swept out Philadelphia in the second round. Ivan Demidov, it's like these guys are skating in. There's no one around in the picture. It's 4-1. Montreal after the first period of this game. Carolina would get one in the second to make it 4-2. Then this is the prettiest goal of the night from Jaromír Slafkovský. I mean, seriously? Watch the replay on this. Complete deke out there. Kept control of the puck and then scores. He added an empty netter as well, did Slafkovský. Montreal rolls in game one. 6-2, the final. Canadiens won a game 7 on the road. Now win a game 1 on the road. So they've stolen home ice. Game 2 will be tomorrow night in Raleigh. Game 2 with Vegas and Colorado is tonight. Remember, Vegas won game 1 on the road. See if the Avalanche can even that up. That's tonight on ESPN. So that's what happened last night in the respective playoffs in the NHL and the NBA. We have a packed show coming up for you here today on this Friday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. As I mentioned, Cory Provus will join us at 9:35 from Boston as the Twins open up a series with the Red Sox and some personnel moves coming as well. We'll visit with Cory at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, we'll head out to Bismarck and visit with one of the state's great long-distance runners. Owen Johnson will join us fresh off the 3,200-meter champion. He won that yesterday afternoon in Bismarck, and he did it in state record time. That adds to a cross-country state championship that he got back in October in Jamestown. Excited to visit with Owen coming up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, Jordan Christofferson will join us from Horace High School. Newest Bison women's basketball commit. She announced yesterday she's a member of the 2027 Bison class, the 4th different commit, 2nd North Dakotan, and now off that Horace State Championship team of a year ago. Jaden Hale just completed her freshman year at Gonzaga. Christofferson is heading to NDSU. We're waiting on Lakin Donnelly because I imagine she's going to be a Division I player as well. That's 3 Division I players, as we talked about when they won it, on that roster that won a state championship. So we'll hear from Jordan about committing to NDSU coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Friday morning. We're just getting started. Hot Mike returns after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show off and rolling. Cory Provus will join us in about 15 minutes. Twins are in Boston to open up a weekend set there. They've already made one personnel move we'll chat about with Cory then. We have done this before. It is Friday. It's time to open up the microphone to our guy, Eric Bonnell, who's I just have it written down. Eric produced segment on my rundown. So what do we got?
Well, because you send your what to watch in very early.
Yes.
So we get that, and I got to see it.
Uh-huh.
I was not too happy, I'll be honest. You are missing...
What, for today? Or
yeah, for today. You are missing the greatest spectacle in racing.
I got Indy 500 on there.
Nope, not that. Nope, you missed it last year, too. Dumb.
What?
The Weenie 500 is back!
Oh, no.
This is awesome! Like... What are we doing? Why is this should be on?
No, what are we doing is a great way to say it. Yes,
this should be headline news. Like watching the Weenie 500. Come on, it doesn't get any better than this.
Is this actually during the race? When is this?
This is today at 1 on Fox. Like
on Big Fox,
on Big Fox,
on Fox, not FS1,
not FS1 on Big Fox.
My God.
So I was.
Yeah, well, I did. I definitely missed this one. I'll chalk it up to that.
I was.
Who races in this?
All the weenie mobiles from around the
But
world.
like, who's driving him is what I'm
the
asking.
drivers of the cars.
The
from
actual
summer.
Indy 500 competitors.
No, not the actual
Oh.
Indy 5. Like the people who drive the hot dog buns around all the time.
Okay.
Okay. If you want a laugh on a Friday,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
pulling this up yesterday. Maddie and I were watching some highlights of the race.
Okay, you guys need more things to do if you're watching highlights
Well,
of hot dog
I was
racing.
cutting it for this segment because before everything happened, and yeah, we were like they're paying the actual IndyCar commentators to commentate this race. So go back and watch. It's a 10-minute race, I think. Go back and watch.
Right, so I'm reading the press release they put out for it. It says it returns this year with a sizzling new twist. What is the
I don't know
twist
what the twist is.
Let's see here. Yeah, there's 72 million hot dogs consumed every Memorial Day weekend, by the way.
I believe it.
Hot dogs are top notch in my household. I'll say that. What is the twist here? With selling nearly 500,000 more wieners last year, the spectacle drew 85,000 fans in the stands.
Yep.
And 8 million more via live stream. Revving up for its second lap, the race will feature the full fleet of 6 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles who will be competing for the title of top dog this year with the new. Oh, this is it. It's on Fox this year with a new live nationwide broadcast and the chance for fans to get on the action. So they saw that the people wanted it, so they're putting on television.
And instead of this is the best part. Instead of the national anthem, they do the Oscar
Mayer.
Mayer Wiener anthem, and it is hilarious.
So, how many times did they go around the track?
Twice. They only go 0 to 60.
Okay.
You have to
I might.
The dad puns and the.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
the dad jokes are
commentating
probably
are great.
effective. Yeah, I'm sure they're really good. Many of the beloved traditions for the inaugural Weenie 500 are back for this year's race, including custom Wienermobile decals, hot dogger racing suits, the iconic Wiener Song anthem, and finally the trophy presentation at the Wiener Circle podium, complete with a mustard spray and Borg Wiener trophy, because the Borg Warner goes to the Indy 500 winner. All part of an experience that only Oscar Mayer can provide. The Weenie 500 is designed to spark smiles and serve up a uniquely delightful race. What are our thoughts on mustard? Mustard is like top 2, top 3 condiment for me.
Mustard is gross.
What?
Mustard is
Gross?
disgusting. Like,
No,
get it out of here.
no, you get out of here. No.
Well,
Your food takes are already been well discussed on
my
this
chili
show.
takes, we got to bring those back up?
Seriously, you're not a mustard person?
No, I have tried it. I cannot
Wow.
get into mustard.
So what do you put in a hot dog? Do you have hot dog? Do you eat hot dogs?
Oh, I eat hot dogs.
So
all
what do
the
you put
time.
on your hot dog?
Ketchup.
No. You can't
Yeah.
do that. I'm going to Chicago next month. If you were to actually do that, you would be dragged out on the street. You cannot put ketchup on a hot dog.
I put ketchup on
No.
hot dogs all the time.
Mustard. Mustard's the way to go.
Like do ketchup, bacon, like bacon bits, like chop up some bacon
Okay.
to add a little difference to it.
All right. You got me rattled. What else you got here
All
for
right.
your segment?
So
That's
now-
today at 1.
That's today.
1
at 1.
o'clock on Big Fox.
So, well, they're doing it on Big Fox because it leads right into like the IndyCar pit stop challenge.
Oh, there's
today.
actual events happening.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
actual.
just something.
It makes perfect sense for today because
Got
it's
it.
called Carb Day.
Yeah, I knew that. Okay.
So that's why, like, it just makes sense.
Okay. My gosh. All right. What else we
So
got?
now we're actually going to get into some serious stuff because
Oh.
you've complained about this. Being out here, I think it's my 5th state tournament season doing this, of the North Dakota high school state tournaments need to change their formats. Like, it's just bad. Like, why are we playing consolation games at the state tournament?
Oh, here we go.
Like, we do not need to do it.
Do not send me the emails here, folks, although I totally agree with you.
We do not, like, basketball. Why? Like, you could have the AA format.
Okay.
You could have a tournament in Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, maybe, depending on, like, when you want to do it, and Minot. Rotate between the 4 big cities and don't tell me we can't play on a Wednesday because we play hockey on a Wednesday for when we go to Grand Forks. They play, like, and just get rid of the consolation games. Just go 4, like, 1 year you're going to play the A girls first and then the B girls on the second day, and then you're going to flip-flop them every year. So that way everybody's on equal rest. There's no competitive advantage. and you go 4-4-2 for the championship game. Kind of like what the AA does.
All right, so let's first start. The consolation stuff, I'm with you on that. I don't think that's probably a losing battle there because the appeal, especially in the Class B, is you get to go and play 3 games, although the 7th place one I always struggle with. Like, okay, great, we made it there, but you lost 3 games to end the season. Like, that part I always have a hard time with. I think Minnesota has it somewhat right. Like, you're guaranteed 2. But if you lose the second time, then you're done. I would be okay with 2 games. Like, you have your quarterfinal game, and if you lose your consolation game, then you're going home. I can get on board with that. I'm totally with you on the Wednesday stuff. I've said that before. I think that's a change, especially with how we do our TV stuff. Because I've heard the brunt of this for years, that you could do it where let's play the AA girls quarterfinals on Wednesday, play the AA boys quarterfinals on Thursday, semifinals stay the same for Friday, and championship stays the same for Saturday. Now, under your idea, we could do it where, how about we play, if we have the combined tournaments now of the A and the, A going on at the same time, the girls A and B and the boys A and B at the same time. You could do one on a Wednesday, quarters there, and instead of, because I know we've had feedback of, well, wait a minute, like we have, on that first Thursday, we have games going at the same time. Well, if you played on a Wednesday, you could alleviate that. Now, here's the thing on it. On our end, there's a financial cost to that because it's one more day of setup, one more day of delaying programming, one more day of paying it, or 2 more days of paying everybody because you got to get out there a heck of a day a lot earlier. On the high school side of it, they would tell you, hey, we've got to pay more hotels. We've got to do all this. There's some financial parts of that have to be worked out. North Dakota, you've been here long enough, I think you know it takes a long time for them to sign on anything different, any changes. Heck, I've been beating the drum on the spring thing for 15 years. We're finally, I think, going to have some change on that. I think soon where not every tournament is the same weekend. For you in basketball, good luck. That's all I'll tell you on that.
Also, one more thing on, like, basketball. Why don't we make, like, I know the EDC, they love the EDC tournament, the WDA.
Yep.
Why don't we make the regular season mean more for the top 2? Like, if you win, you're not guaranteed you're going to go to state. You could lose.
Correct.
All 3. You could lose 2 games and you're done.
So what would you say?
I would say, honestly,
the regular season champ automatically gets a spot at state?
Yeah.
I would like that.
Automatically. Yeah. Or if they don't want to do that, and probably it's been probably shot down, why don't we have, like we do to open, like we have the 4 games to open the tournament? Why don't we and we have some play-in games for both the EDC and WDA. Why don't we seed them like 1 through whatever? I think it's 22 teams. And seed them 1, and then you believe you'd have some play-in games. And then, okay, whoever wins that, just like football, like you could still have 8 games, but you're not playing 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah. Well, you could do this as well where you just seed the top 8. You know what I mean? Like we can just do that too. Or, you know, if whoever qualifies out of the East, those 4, not necessarily have, 1 out of the West has to play 4 out of the East. Like, okay, so we have the 4 teams who make it out of the East and 4 teams out of the West, then reseed them before the state tournament. I'd be on board with that.
I think that would be way better.
I'm on board with that, totally.
And then even with, like, the A and B, do the same, like, have Region 1, because it just doesn't make sense that you're playing everybody in the regular season and then you're playing them again in the tournament. When we have these state qualifiers, have Region 1 play in, like, 2, seed them all, because there's 15 teams, so 1 team would get a bye.
Yep.
Everybody plays everybody already. Like, why not do it that way?
Very well could.
You could still have your state qualifiers from your semifinals. Hey, you get to the semifinals, you're not guaranteed to go home, 3rd place game, then you have your state qualifier.
Yeah. You're being ripped. We got to go to break. Dom,
that's fine.
Only mustard on a hot dog. Any kind works. No ketchup. Maybe some sauerkraut. Come on, man. Let's go. I mean, so there you go. You've lit a firestorm here.
I told you my food takes usually do.
All right, we got to go to break. That's good stuff. Wienermobile 5. What is it called?
The Weenie 500, baby.
Weenie 500 later today on Fox. There you go. Let's break. We'll get back to some normalcy with this show. Cory Provus will join us from Boston. Twins, Red Sox coming up. Been a tough week injury-wise. We'll get an update on that. Royce Lewis update. That's all coming up. We come back.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, it's that time on a Friday. We visit with our guy, Cory Provus, who joins us live from lovely Boston as the Twins get set for a 10-game, three-city road tour. Starts off at Fenway Park. They'll make their way to Cory's hometown of Chicago and then off to Pittsburgh after that. Good to see him, man. It's been a newsy, busy week for the Twins. How was the trip into Boston?
It was fine. It was great. We traveled yesterday, got in last night, and had dinner last night with Chris and Perk. Went out to the North End. That's a famous area of great Italian food and bakeries and all that. So I love coming here. One of my favorite stops on the tour, and for a weekend, especially here, it's always special.
How cramped is the visiting TV booth? Is it okay, or what do you got?
Oh, it's a good size.
Okay.
No, it's fine. You got plenty of room in the back. This is great. The accommodations here are fine. Wrigley's tight in terms of just size and space, but. If we don't have a three-man crew, it's great. Now we don't have a three-man crew here. We won't have a three-man crew at Wrigley in July out of the All-Star break. So the two oldest ballparks in our grand game, and if that's what we're complaining about, we're doing just fine in life.
So we were on this same segment last week talking on Royce Lewis's immediate future. It was not a good weekend against the Brewers, and eventually, obviously, the Twins made a move to send him to St. Paul. Give us your diagnosis of this, and when do we see him back in the majors?
Wasn't surprising. I think it was, and I think we kind of hit on this a little bit last week, just based on the tone of our conversation, that this seemed to be inevitable. Justin talked about this when we got back together for the game on Tuesday, because the roster news happened on Monday. I was a little surprised it didn't happen after the Sunday game in advance of the Monday game, even though I know St. Paul is off on Monday and all the minor leagues for that matter. But there was that last at bat, or second to last at bat, that Sunday game when Royce tried to bunt.
Yes.
And that caught me off guard, Molitor too, but then especially, Justin, when he was kind of watching the game, and like that's not something that he normally does. And not to say it's a bad play with the way that he's been going, because that was, Tom Kelly used to talk about that all the time, that if you're stuck in an 0 for 20, you're not making contact, do something different and bunt. And so I think that's what Royce was trying to do. They weren't very good attempts. But I think this was inevitable. I think, what the Twins have done with Matt Wallner, what they're doing now with Royce, to me, is 100% performance-based. Mm-hmm. And I think that's only fair to the team, too, that you've got to, what's happening here right now, and I think it's fair for the player. There was some, we asked, not we, but the media asked Jeremy Zoll, on Tuesday, if there was any thought about Royce going back to Fort Myers, to completely hit the reset button and go back down to Florida, just to kind of get out of the market. And yes, he's in a different team, but he's in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market still. It didn't seem like those conversations, or even that idea, at least publicly, went very far. So St. Paul is where he's at. It was good to see him homer last night in his first game with the Saints, but I think to me, it wasn't a surprise. I think it was the right call based on just how it's been going for Royce here this season.
Cory, is this, the last injury? I look back at what he did in that playoff run against Toronto. He was on fire. It has not seemed himself even after that most recent injury. You're there every day. Can you give me your diagnosis on what you've seen over the last year and a half?
I just wonder how solid the right leg is.
Yeah.
And the right leg, that's been, sadly, the compromised leg. Now, the injury he had this season, that was the opposite leg. It was his left knee. But I just wonder, everything that leg has been through, from the 2 ACLs, but even the soft tissue injuries that have popped up over the years. Many, if not all, have been on that right side, and that goes up to his adductor, his groin, all these different things that he's had. That's what I always have thought about, and I'm anything but a strength trainer, but I just wonder how solid is that right leg, your foundation, as he's batting. And if you notice too, Royce certainly on pitches inside, he shuffles his feet a lot, right? He just kind of shuffles and backs up a little bit, and I don't see that as a very common visual sight amongst hitters in the game, and I don't know what to make of that. But that is something that and I'm sure others have noticed here the last couple of seasons watching Royce, is that the lower half is just moving around a lot. Yeah. It's a very fidgety lower half, and for a guy that's hoping to be a 15, 20 homer guy, where are the comps with that? I don't think there are too many. So it's not unusual for a guy to overhaul the swing and make swing adjustments. It happens way more often than we probably even know or pay attention to, unless you're really studying hands and feet and stances. And there are ways to do that now with Baseball Savant, but I'm not diving into that every single day. But I think, getting away from the big league club, and yes, he's only across the river, but still just to reset a little bit, find some confidence, and then see where we're at whenever his time comes back around. But this is not going to be, hey, play well for a week and you're coming back. I think this is going to be a bit.
Okay. On top of that, then the bizarre injury that happened to Ryan Jeffers. I want you to take us through what you saw in that, and then afterwards we find out he might be out for 2 months now.
Yeah, he's got a broken hamate bone, and he sounded. I saw him in the clubhouse because his flight got delayed the other day. He's looking at this maybe as 4 or 5 weeks, and then he'll be back. So he was pretty optimistic about how his ability to return, and it stinks for a variety of reasons. In many ways, I just think he was so irreplaceable right now because of how good he's been at the plate, how good he's been with the ABS. Even his throwing has gotten better here as the season's played out. He's thrown out a few base runners, including David Hamilton, the speedster for Milwaukee. Got him the other day with a throw to second base, which was good to see. He's just been playing at an all-star level that, for a guy that's a free agent end of the year, he should be back before the trade deadline. I mean, he should be back, he said, by early to mid-July. So he's going to have, probably some time to get everything ready and get everything right and see where the team is at that point. But you feel for him because he was playing so well, and then it does impact the team drastically. I mean, drastically with how good he's been at the plate. It's a significant loss right now with this team. We're watching the injury as it happened live. He had that foul ball, and then he in fact he brought up the phone. He opened up the video to me in the clubhouse the next day when I saw him, and he's got his hand already in a soft cast. And he said, "Did you see that I winced after I took one practice swing?" And I said, "I did." And he slowed it down for me. And if you really go back and look at it, so after the foul ball, he gets a new bat in his hand, right? And then he takes 1 or 2 practice swings and he winces. And I'm like, ooh. And then as he came out, he's talking with Shelty and I think Nick Paparesta. I could have sworn, reading his lips, he said wrist. He said wrist. And we didn't say it on the air because I didn't want to be wrong.
Right.
But then after the game, we learned it was a left wrist sprain, but then further examination revealed the broken hamate bone. So it's going around. What's odd about this is that, Jeffers, he uses an axe handle. So there's really no knob at the bottom. It's actually more common for those that wrap your bottom hand around the knob. He doesn't do that. He has that axe handle. So it's obviously not impossible, but I think they're pretty rare to happen for guys that use the axe handle bottom as opposed to your traditional knob.
On top of that, other bizarre thing, Joe Ryan looks unhittable. After he pulled himself out of the game, can you figure out, the 3 starts he's had since he came out? He looks like the all-star Joe Ryan we come to know.
Again, we chalk it up to it is the Joe Ryan experience. He's one of the most, since Joey Votto retired from baseball, I think the game has been looking for the most interesting man in the sport. I don't have a vote for that, but if I did, Joe Ryan to me is the most interesting man in the sport. We tell, whether I'm doing it for Twins TV or a national game, I always say with our directors, let's keep a camera on him at all times because you never know what you're going to see. You'll see faces. You'll see expressions. You'll see him singing My Sharona. You'll see him doing the oddest things. He's a character. He really is just like a character of an individual, but he makes it fun, not to mention he's really good. So 3 straight starts, 6 innings, allowing 1 run, struck out 9, a season high the other day. He looks great, and that is beyond best case scenario. I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, that what he has done since that injury scare against Toronto, I think has blown everybody away with how well he's throwing the ball. So he's going up against the White Sox in his next start, and that Chicago team can hit, Dom. That they're putting up some runs, and it's a confident young team right now. A lot of savvy trades that they have made, and even some free agent signings, especially with Murakami, are paying dividends and then some right now. So that this is not going to be an easy series. And heck, the White Sox beat the Twins. They won the season series head-to-head last year. So getting our first look at this new Chicago team on Monday.
Let's break. We come back. Speaking of new, the Twins have a new player coming up. They just made the announcement right before Cory came on, so we'll talk about the new guy that's being added to the roster, chat about the series with the Red Sox as well. We turn on Hot Mike on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up Hour 1. Our guy Cory Provus back with us in Boston. Twins and Red Sox coming up tonight. We'll preview that in a second. We got an email that came in when we started our show. The Twins had made a move that Gabriel Gonzalez has been called up from AAA St. Paul with Tristan Gray going on the paternity list. He'll be active tonight. Likely, Cory, he'll make his Major League debut, ? Tonight?
I think there's a good chance. Peyton Tolley, lefty, going for the Red Sox, and perhaps even Gonzalez faced him a little bit in the minor leagues this season when St. Paul played Worcester. So we'll look into that as well. Gonzalez, number 7 prospect in the Twins system, entering the year per MLB.com. I think even MLB Pipeline had him as a top 100 prospect entering the season. So he was the key piece. If you think back to the Jorge Polanco trade with Seattle a couple of years ago, he was the key guy in that trade. And yes, even though there was, Justin Topa was in that trade as well, but there was some prospect capital that the Twins really liked in that trade, and he just kept hitting and hitting and hitting, especially last year. Hit right-handed pitching better. He's a right-handed hitter. But I think if you look at his game log so far this year, Dom, they've introduced first base to him a little bit. 12 games at first base, and quite a bit recently here. And I was asking Drew McPhail and Frankie Pedulo from the Twins minor league development team. They give a lot of credit to Orlando Arcia, who's now up at the big league club as well, for helping him transition to first base. And it makes a lot of sense. He struggled as an outfielder, wasn't very good out in the corner. And the Twins have had this revolving door at first base, like somebody take this job. And if it becomes a platoon, if that's because, Josh Bell, the Twins have not played him too much at first base. And Victor Caratini has played some first base, but now with Ryan Jeffers down, Caratini is going to be catching quite a bit. I don't think you're going to see Caratini much at all at first base for a while. There's going to be a need there. And Cody's been playing great, by the way. Cody's been playing better against lefties, so he's going to be, I think, the predominant starting first baseman. But Gonzalez, 3 homers over his last 6 games. It wouldn't shock me one bit to see him in the lineup tonight against the lefty and Peyton Tolley for Game 1.
You were giving me the stats off air on Cody Clemens defensively, which shocked me when you told me that.
Yeah. So there's all these different ways to judge defense. And look, some of it is still, and I think it's fair, it's still very subjective in terms of what we're looking at. There's outs above average with Baseball Savant. There's Fangraphs defensive runs saved. There's also Mark Simon, who works for a company called Sports Info Solutions. And his criteria shifts a little bit. And we'll get into some of that tonight, into how it's different. But his criteria, the way that he compiles his information is slightly different from other places. But per his numbers this morning, Cody Clemens is number 1 amongst all first basemen right now with 5 defensive runs saved. And when I saw that, I was like, that's interesting. But it does kind of match the eye test here a little bit. I think Cody's played a really good first base, and we saw him his second start, his first start maybe in right field of the season the other day, which was awesome. He's not playing much second, but the way that he's swinging right now, Dom, against left-handed pitching, which is why he may start at first base tonight, even with Tolley out there. But yeah, Cody's been earning more and more playing time in a similar way that Austin Martin was earning more playing time against righties because of the way he was swinging the bat against righties. The way that Clemens has been going against lefties hey, you're forcing Derek Shelton to make these decisions and play me more.
The Red Sox fired Alex Cora earlier this year. They're currently 5 games under 500. What do we make of what we're going to see over this weekend with the Red Sox?
They have a winning record here in May. Now, much of that is because of what they just did. They had lost their last 3 series up until sweeping the Royals in Kansas City Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like the Twins off Thursday. So it's a different team from last we saw, namely because of injuries. Won't see Garrett Crochet in this series, he's out. Won't see Trevor Story in this series, he is out. Roman Anthony dealing with a sprained ligament in his finger, he is out. So there's some big injuries right now with this team. So that's why Toley's in the rotation. Brian Bayo has really struggled. He was an opener for him last time. Probably going to do that with him tomorrow. Then Sonny Gray. The Twins had success against their former teammate at Target Field last month. Right now, lined up to go on Sunday. He's been better since coming off the IL. He's had a good season, 5.1 ERA in the 3s, and he was out with a hamstring injury for a bit. He's back from that, so he's been throwing better. He throws much better too at home than he has on the road. That's been kind of standard for Sonny, oddly, in his career. A lot of success at his home ballparks compared to his road numbers. But I still love this outfield. I think the Red Sox have the best defensive outfield in the game with Duran and Rafaela and Willie Abreu, as good as they come in right field. So that it's still a very good defensive team, even though they have some parts right now that are down. Mickey Gasper, we'll see our former Twin. He's back up, actually playing well with the Red Sox right now, so we'll see him there this weekend. But, yeah, it's a different team. I'm with Trevor Plouffe for the first time here this weekend. Can't wait to see him and his perspective on the game. I think it's going to be really fun to kind of listen to and how he kind of diagnoses what's been going on with the Red Sox all season long.
Before I let you go, we always say, or baseball types will say, Memorial Day is the cutoff to say, okay, are you a contender or not? When you look at the AL Central, how many teams are honestly, the Tigers are 11 games under 500 right now. Who is a contender in this and who's not?
I think with the wild card right now and how mediocre the league has been, I think just about everybody is still maybe is outside the Angels. I mean, I think everybody's pretty much around right now. Now, with the Tigers, and boy, what is going on with them? Again, injuries are a part of it, but who isn't hurt right now? I've been watching here. Tarek Skubal threw another bullpen yesterday. Maybe he is back in a couple of weeks, and maybe he's only down a month. And then all of a sudden, I was thinking about this in a way that the Skubal injury, how does that impact? I think that could have been best case scenario for the AL Central because it's unlikely he was going to re-sign with the Tigers.
Yeah.
And if they trade him, the haul, one would think, is going to be pretty significant. They could set up the Tigers for a long, long time. If similarly with what happened with the Royals after their run, they won the World Series, went to the championship, lost, won the World Series, then were contending the following year. The old GM, Dayton Moordom, hung on to all those cats for a long time, the Escobars and Hosmers, Moustakas, and that set them back for a long time. You wonder if the Tigers are in the same boat. Do they keep Skubal and see where they're at? If so, he leaves, all you get is a draft pick. It's a big loss. No doubt. So it becomes quite intriguing with what they do with Skubal because of how quickly he seems to be coming back from this elbow surgery.
Great stuff as always, bud. Have a great call this weekend. We'll talk in a couple weeks, okay?
Sounds good, Dom. Thanks, buddy.
There he goes. Cory Provus. You'll see him tonight in Fenway Park. Great, great place to catch a ball game. Twins and the Red Sox for the next 3 o'clock tomorrow. He was talking to me. Weather might be an issue on Sunday for the finale at 12:30 on Sunday. We'll see about that. We'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour heading out to Bismarck for day 2 of the North Dakota State track meet. One guy that shined already. He's already got a state championship in his back pocket. Northern Cass's Owen Johnson will join us when Hot Mike returns after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 ready to rock and roll here on this Friday morning. Don't forget, live coverage from Bismarck in day 2 of the state track meet gets going later today. You can actually web stream everything right now on WDAY Plus on your phone or tablet. We've got events going on. TV coverage right here on Extra begin at 1 o'clock later today, which our next guest will be getting ready to go about 1 o'clock. As you look, there is a very busy MDU Community Resources Bowl out in Bismarck. It will get going later today with events on the track. Already, our next guest has already got a state championship in his back pocket. That's to go with a cross-country state championship that he won in the fall. Owen Johnson from Northern Cass joins us, who won the 3,200 meters. He's got a race today, a couple more tomorrow. Appreciate this. First, congratulations. Tell me about yesterday. Going out, you set a state record winning that, the 3,200 yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good race. Going into it, I knew I was pretty fit, so I figured I'd just try and punch it from the gun and see if I could get it. And it was a little windy out, but I was able to get it done. I had a pretty nice cushion the whole time. So with 2 laps to go, I kind of knew I had it in the bag, and it was just kind of seeing if I could get it, and barely got it. So.
As a non-athletic person, I am very envious to hear you say, I knew I had it in the bag. Tell me what that feeling is like with 2 laps to go, that I got this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty surreal, I guess, after, getting second last year. I got third my sophomore year, and I got fourth my freshman year. So I guess I went fourth, third, second, first. So it was nice to finally get it done. I feel like it's kind of been a long time coming, especially in the 3,200 meter.
Tell me about that from last year. Was that nagging at you this whole year about what happened? Was that, or did you put it to bed when this year began?
I would say I'm pretty good about like having a short memory, but yeah, that's definitely one I think about quite a bit. Just I went into that one with the fastest seed time. I think I went in with like a 9:13 PR, and it was a beautiful day out last year. And we just got out slow. Taylor ended up winning. He's a 152 800 guy, and we went through a mile in like 5 flat. I ended up running 9:26. Taylor ran 9:25. I closed in a 58. I think he closed in like a 57 or a 56. So it was just, the last lap was just nuts. And then I really thought I had it going into the bell last year, and just wheels kind of came off the last 100 meters, but.
Does that make it yesterday even more sweeter? 9:22 and set a record?
It was pretty nice. The guy who had the record before, Jalen Chase from Newtown, texted me last night just congratulating me. So that was a pretty cool moment. That was set in 2017, I think. So it was pretty cool to just talk to him about it.
I was talking with your AD. There was a pretty big crowd there. Describe that coming down the home stretch. Did you hear that going down the last little bit?
Yeah, it was pretty cool to with 300 meters to go. The crowd kind of started to get like, you could feel them because they knew I was gonna win, and then last 100 meters I kind of gave them a little wave and a fist bump, which was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to just celebrate with the crowd a little bit. During state cross, I didn't realize, I didn't know what my lead was. So the last 200 meters, I was just kind of crawling to the finish line, hoping that nobody would get me. But today that didn't happen.
So tell me, did you celebrate last night? You got a busy schedule. You were talking to me off air. What you got? Did you celebrate at all? It's like, okay, that's just check mark number 1.
Yeah. I celebrated probably in a little bit of an unconventional way, but me and my teammates and my mom, we walked to Family Fair, which is right across the street. And some of my teammates got ice cream. I didn't because I still have some races this weekend. But and then we made some fun videos in the Family Fair, and just had a good time. And then we had a big team dinner in the hotel lobby, and then a meeting after, and it was a lot of fun.
So on that, can you eat a lot? Did you eat a lot last night, or no? I gotta, I'm still training here. I got 2 more races to go.
Yeah, I would say I definitely, just on a day-to-day basis, probably eat 2 times more food than the average human. But yeah, I ate a good bit of food, a lot of spaghetti and breadsticks.
Oh, there you go, man. You got to carb up. You got a couple more races here to go. I want to talk. Your mom coaches you as well. Tell me about that dynamic and how that works for both you guys.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fun to have my mom at practice. Albeit it's going to be fun next year to not have my mom as a coach. I'm sure most kids could understand, but it's definitely a blessing to be able to share these moments with my mom.
We're seeing video, Owen, from when WDAY came up and talked to you. You won the cross-country championship this year. Tell me about training for this year to go out and try to have the best year possible. What your goals were like before, go back to August for this whole calendar year, basically.
Yeah, I mean, August was really just focused on cross country and more importantly, just like staying healthy. I wanted to stay healthy all throughout the fall, like no injuries. And then that worked out, and I had a great cross country season. It kind of got off to a little bit of a slower start, in my opinion. And then we had a meet called Border Battles, and that's when it really started to pick up. I just kept winning races, which is always good. And then finished the season in November with a little like postseason race in Sioux Falls. And yeah, just going into December, just the goal was to just stay consistent, and training went great. I was doing like my mileage didn't increase too much. So I was doing like 60 to 65 miles a week, like pretty much every week throughout the winter. And I just got so fit, like the best shape of my life doing that.
Here's a silly question. Do you do, especially in the wintertime, are you doing that at all outside or are you all inside?
I would say I probably do most of it outside, which is pretty hard being in Fargo.
Yeah.
But there's like I just had my graduation party last week, and we had photos hanging up of like it was -6, and I had to go run like 9 miles outside, and my face is just covered in icicles, like my eyebrows and my hair and my lip. My chin was all covered in ice.
So outside of that being like the coolest photo ever, what the mentality to do that, how mentally tough do you have to be? Physically, it's one thing, but mentally describe doing it. Because I mean, for a lot of us, like, nah, there's no way I'm going outside. Forget about running. I'm just not going to go outside.
Yeah, I mean, I do utilize the treadmill a good bit, but it can be pretty challenging to get out the door on some of those colder days, but I feel like it's always worth it. I mean, as long as you're being safe. Like when it's that cold, you kind of have to cover up and layer up a whole bunch. So as long as you're being safe, it like at the worst, it might be a bad run, but it'll make for a funny photo or a good story.
Make for a great story. That's exactly right. Tell me about your experience in North Carolina last month. You had a great time there, and you literally ran a great time. What did that do to set up what happened yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, that was just a big, like, after that race, I just had so much confidence, like, in myself and in my abilities. So, yeah, that was just a crazy race. We, like, got hot from the gun. I think there was 25 guys in that race, and 18 of us broke 9 minutes.
Holy cow.
And I was sitting in about 20th place the first 6 laps, pretty much. I didn't move up at all. And then with 6 to go, I just closed hard, and I think I moved from 20th to 10th place in the last 500 meters, and it was a great run. It was a great atmosphere, too, and a very well put together meet.
Owen, when you have a race like that, is there an unspoken agreement with the guys, like, hey, we're not going to bust it out of the gate, or how does that work in the especially like in the 32? Like, do you figure it out as the race is going? Like, all right, everyone's laying back, and then they're going to go at the end. How does that work? Yeah, I mean, like the 3,200 meter, it's like it's a long race, but it's only 2 miles, so it's like for most people, for most high schoolers, it seems pretty far, but if you're ripping 4:25 pace a lap into a 2 mile, it goes by quick, and it hurts a lot. But everybody kind of knew lining up that we were really gonna rip it. Like everybody knew. I'm gonna tell you right now, at mid 40s, that seems 2 miles is a really, really long race to go. I'm just gonna tell you now. All right, so what are future plans here? You mentioned you graduate high school here. What's on deck? Yeah, so graduation on Sunday, and then after that, probably no more races. Yeah, definitely no more races. I'm not racing after state. I'm kind of going to take probably a week off, and then I'm running cross country and track at NDSU next year, so I'll probably take 8 days off and then get rolling, try and get fit, see if I can't sneak my way onto the conference or regional team next year. So we just saw them up close here, the Bison Tracksters compete this past weekend. Yeah. Describe and seeing the amount of local talent on that team, Owen, how much did that inspire you to say, I can do this? I see guys from Hillsboro or all over the state that are competing. I can do that too. It's cool. I think the most exciting part about it for me is like it's a team full of people who are already my friends. Like I don't know everybody on the team, obviously, but
especially like the cross guys. I probably know 9 out of 10 of those dudes, and I really like all of them quite a bit. So that's going to be pretty exciting, and I'm just excited to have a bunch of teammates to train with.
What was the recruiting process like for you and NDSU? Did you go to them? They find you? How did that all come about?
I've been since my 8th grade year. I just went to the NDSU cross country camp in the summer.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of knew the coach Dennis. I just kind of knew him. And then my junior year, I just kind of sent him an email saying like, oh, hey, I'm interested. And he's like, great. I'd love to hop on a phone call, and then just took a visit this fall. And then I guess the rest is history.
So there you go. We're going to see him racing not too far from here beyond this. So tell us now, you got yesterday in the books. What's ahead for the rest of the weekend here?
Yeah, I got the 1600 today at 1 o'clock or so. And then tomorrow I have the 800 and the 4x4. So that should be a lot of fun.
Tell me about that last one. The 4x4 that's the last event of the meet. What's the pressure like? Knowing everybody's sticking around to watch that last event?
Yeah, because I'm the anchor leg too, so I get a little extra nervous because it's like, I mean, everybody probably feels this was like, oh, all the eyes are on me, like, oh man, time to go. But it's really special. It's gonna be one last race with my teammates, with my high school teammates, my friends. So just gonna soak it in and enjoy the crowd one last time.
What is it like to be the anchor leg, knowing there's certain pressure that comes with that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every team has a good anchor leg. That's why they're anchor. And so it's just like, it's just, that it's gonna be hard, but it's always, it really brings the most out of you, I think. At least for me, I'm a big guy on like competing. I love to compete, like more than like North Carolina. That's why it was so fun. There's so many guys to go out and beat. I just love beating people. So I think being at anchor leg is like the best situation for me to be in, because it like glorifies that feeling of like, all right, I'm out here to beat people.
Two last things with Owen Johnson here from Northern Cass running here. We still got a couple time. He's got time. He's got 1 o'clock. He's got to be out on the track. Is there anybody that you wanted to watch race like competitively? Like, you're not in that race, but I want to watch said person compete this weekend?
It was pretty cool to watch the girls 32 yesterday with Claire and Ruby both just punching it from the gun, and then the boys 32, the Class A, was really cool. Just seeing Luca and Owen Hintz kind of battle it out till the very end. But other than that, the 800s are always really fun to watch. And what else? 4x4s too. 4x4 is a classic. Yeah. And then the mile's my favorite event personally. But
last thing before we go, and I know you mentioned this earlier. So come Sunday, like, are you laying on the couch? Like, I'm not moving. What do you got planned, like, on Sunday or Monday? Like, I'm done here.
That's actually a good question. So Sunday's graduation, but I've been talking to my friends. Monday, the plan is for me and a few of my teammates to go golfing. And then afterwards, we're planning on just eating a bunch of food. Going to like Dave's Hot Chicken or like,
oh, there you go. Okay.
Like somewhere and just like going, like just enjoying the down week.
Oh man, just gorge yourself out that you've been training for so long. Yeah, all right, I hear you. Now that part is the only part of this interview I can relate to. Is that the end part there? This was awesome, bud. I really appreciate you doing this. Congratulations on the state title. Good luck today and tomorrow, and thanks so much for giving us a few minutes. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There he is, Owen Johnson from Northern Cass, future Bison track and cross-country standout. We'll just call it like it is because he's going to be A-OK in college there. As I mentioned, he'll be competing at 1 o'clock. Eric, you throw that graphic up our coverage because he'll be right on the track when we hit the air today at 1 on WDAY Extra. You'll see that, the Class B 1,600-meter run. That gets going the B girls, then the A girls. That's the running order. It goes B girls, A girls, B boys, and the A boys. So you'll see that at 1 o'clock. Later today, we'll have the 4x8 relay. That is a long race, the final of that. In Class A at 3:30, then the Class B at 5 o'clock. And then all the field events today, the long jump, the discus, pole vault, high jump, shot put, triple jump, all that good stuff will be available. There are separate streams for all of those as well. So if you're on your phone or tablet or actually on a desktop computer, you can scroll and find all of the separate streams for those events. And then we have one channel dedicated as well just to the track to see everything that's happening there. Our guy Sam Getzinger was sweating it out, getting everything prepared as best he could. He'll do a great job, and looking forward to our second year of doing this. The amount of feedback we got positively of us televised, it never been televised before until we did it last year, was overwhelming. I expect it's going to be just the same, and you can watch a guy like Owen go out there and run, who's already got a state championship record in his back pocket. That was great. Appreciate him giving us a few minutes. Let's break. We'll take a quick time out here. Hot Mic rolls on a Friday morning. You know, we talked about the Bison countdown to 100. ESPN got it yesterday as well. We'll tell you about that when Hot Mic returns after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show rolls on. Our thanks to Owen Johnson for giving us a few minutes. Jordan Christofferson on her commitment to NDSU coming up here in just a little bit. So yesterday we had Tim Polisic on. If you missed that, you can go back and podcast it or watch it again on inforum.com to officially start the countdown to the Bison football season. We're now 99 days out. I wasn't the only one touting that. ESPN got in on it as well, and they had a bunch of different topics they covered. Storylines, must-see games, hot seat, rising coaches, first-time CFP teams, Heisman contenders, all that. And North Dakota State found its way onto this. I'm not writing this. The Forum didn't write it. Kolpak, McFeely. This is ESPN that wrote this on two separate events under must-see games. Number 10, North Dakota State at UNLV on October the 10th. Long the class of the FCS, ESPN writes, NDSU is finally making a long-awaited jump to the FBS this season. The Bison lost a lot of last year's stars, but they'll get a massive prove-it game with this Week 7 trip to face Mountain West favorite UNLV. Will they be immediate mid-major hits, or is there a learning curve for the team from Fargo? Now, that's not top 10 like FCS games, which the Bison have been thrown into more than a handful of times. The other games on there, I mean, we're talking Houston, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Michigan, a little game between Oregon and Ohio State, Georgia and Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas. NDSU's in this group. Again, we have to adjust our mindset that this is reality now in 2026, that it's not, hey, hunky-dory, they're playing North Dakota and it's going to be a biggie for the Valley Championship. While that was great, this is now the landscape. This is the area, the real estate that they now reside upon. It just, that's, again, takes even me a second. When I saw this, I'm like, what? Really? And then the other list they're on is the top 10 CFP contenders from the group of 6, right? Because there is a pathway if NDSU is ruled eligible come June 23rd and 24th by the Division I cabinet when they are scheduled to meet. And there are 10 teams here. Boise State, number 1. That makes sense. Boise was the reigning Mountain West champs. Now they're in the Pac-12. UNLV is the Mountain West favorite. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Brett McMurphy said on my show. UNLV is the favorite to win in the Mountain West. James Madison is number 3. New Mexico is 4. So there's 2 Mountain West teams already. And then number 5 is North Dakota State. They write, ESPN writes, they're still awaiting a waiver for postseason eligibility, and they'll be awfully inexperienced at quarterback and in the skill core. But the Bison had many top 40 level teams during their domination of the FCS ranks, and they could have the line play to give them an immediate chance at a run. After them is Memphis, Navy, Miami of Ohio, San Diego State, and Texas San Antonio. So, again, that is the most rational, by the way, reasoning we've heard of a national writer to talk about NDSU's prospects for 2026. A lot of them saying, they're going to win 10 games. I'm not there yet. They can use this certainly as bulletin board material when fall camp starts in late July. I'm fine with that. I think there are certainly legitimate challenges on this schedule. Starting with the first game, Jacksonville State is not the JSU that the Bison pushed around on Frisco in January of 2016. Carson Wentz's last game as a Bison. It is not. Do they have a lot of skill? Yeah. I don't know about their line play. Okay, we can go there, but they have a quarterback that's back. They got a 6'8" wide receiver. You heard Paulsek was talking a little bit about it yesterday, that they're going to have some challenges there right out of the chute. Not just a rubber stamp like we're used to. Oh, they've got, Central Connecticut State or Central Arkansas or, Maine coming to the Dome and it's going to be a butt kicking. No, that's not the case anymore for these games. But I thought that was really interesting to see that the worldwide leader has got their eyes fixed on NDSU for a couple of pretty high-touting lists here to get ready for the new season. Again, a reminder, on Wednesday, we will find out the early 3 games of the television schedule and the times, maybe a few more as well. We'll have to talk to the powers that be. We got a busy week next week. We got 6 state tournaments we're broadcasting, but no, there's a lot of interest in that, so we may do like a bonus pod or special web show on that once the schedule comes out. Just we know the level of interest in it is super high regarding Bison and the television part of it. So stay tuned for that coming up. And who knows, if we're lucky and we actually get an announcement when we're on the air instead of everything happening at 11 a.m. or noon when we sign off, that'd be great if we get something to find out between 9 to 11 next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that next week. Let's break. We come back. We'll chat some hoops. You'll meet the newest Bison women's basketball commit out of West Fargo Horace. Jordan Christofferson joins us to chat about committing to the Bison and what that means to her family. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns after this. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour of the week here as we get set for a long weekend. Get you ready for that and everything that comes with it here in just a little bit. Shortly after we wrapped up yesterday, again, going back, the news happens after we're off the air, got wind of another edition for Bison Women's Basketball's class of 2027, which already consists of South Prairie's Riley Rutledge, who about a year ago announced her commitment on our show, from Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, Morgan Mathowitz, who won a state championship for her team this past year, and from New Prague, Minnesota, Maya Killian had already committed. So the Bison already had 3 commits for 2027. Now they have a 4th out of their own backyard. You'll remember last week we had Jenny Bull on our show, UND newly minted Hall of Famer going in. Her daughter is Jordan Christofferson, who we have been following for the better part of 2 years. I believe we interviewed Jordan. You can double check on this, Eric, for me. I think it was almost 2 years ago, almost to the day after she was offered by UND and NDSU after her freshman year of basketball. Well, yesterday she announced that she is verbally committed to join the Bison women's basketball team for the class of 2027, becoming the 4th member of that class. I had a chance to visit with her yesterday about making her decision to go to NDSU and choosing the Bison over UND, where both her mom and dad went to school.
NDSU is a place that just feels like home whenever I go there. I feel like I'm gonna get the best out of my experience at NDSU. The coaches are so supportive, and they've just, every time I've talked to them, they've welcomed me in with open arms. The players as well, the girls there have done the same thing. And just like feeling the support of my family was also a big thing. Staying close to them, being able to have them come to a lot of games was a big thing as well.
I think we talked almost like 2 years ago. It was right after they offered you. So you've been doing this a while. Just to have this done, what's it feel like to have it over done with?
It feels like a huge weight off my chest. I told my mom right after, I made the phone call that it was just a breath of relief. It felt really good, and there's nothing but excitement that I'm feeling right now. Nothing but, I guess, relief too. But yeah.
To, I guess, validate, people thought you were a Division I player. Your own belief, was that when did you get that in your own sense that, hey, I can do this, I can play Division I basketball?
Yeah, I mean, that's always been the dream for me, to go Division I, to play like with those competitors and be at that level. But I think when it really hit was, going to the cities, playing with my North Tartan team, playing with and against people that are ridiculously talented, and just like getting that new pace of game, and feeling comfortable and confident in that aspect, in the new pace, in the new like environment, and just like believing that it's like I can do this, and feeling confident, like I said.
I was mentioning how long you've been doing this. Just now, it's real. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, you still have AAU to come. What's that going to be like now for the next couple months? I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah, I had the phone with Jory, and he just kind of, after I said, I'm ready to come, he was just like, all right, now enjoy it. Have a fun last year. Enjoy it with your teammates. Enjoy it with the coaches. Just like have fun. And hearing him say that, and like realizing that myself, instead of like playing for others, I now can play for myself and play to have fun and play to enjoy it instead. So yeah.
Jordan, what's really stood out? You mentioned being close to home and the ability to play Division I. With NDSU, what did you see with Jory's team, or just that I could see myself playing here?
Yeah, whenever I go to watch a team play, something that comes out to me is obviously team chemistry, how the girls treat each other, after a mistake, what happens with that. And obviously, I mean, talent is a big thing, but a big thing for me is having that team chemistry. And I just saw that this past year with the Bison team. They felt really connected. They felt like they supported each other. I saw them celebrate each other's successes and be happy for each other. So that was a big thing to see, and that was a big draw for me.
Obviously, people know your mom and dad. I was just joking with your dad before you came on here. Your mom told me last week he refused to do the horns up. Have you got him to have you twisted some arms yet on that, or how's that going?
Oh, I've tried so hard. I told my dad yesterday that I committed. He was at work when I did it, and obviously he's happy. He told me he was proud of me, but then he was like, I'm going to be sitting in the other fan student section all the time. And I was like, oh goodness. So we're working on him slowly but surely. We'll get there.
I know how much they've supported you throughout this whole thing. Knowing that they didn't care, how much did that make in terms of where you went? Like, they weren't pressuring to go to UND. How much did that make it easier for you, knowing that wasn't always on your shoulder?
For sure, yes. I mean, like, knowing that I had their support no matter where I went, and knowing that, they truly, like, my mother literally said that she didn't care where I went just as long as I was happy. And hearing that come from her, like hearing that I had their support no matter what, that just made the decision so much easier, and it made it honestly less pressure on myself to know that no matter what, like, I was going to have them in my back corner, which is huge for me. They're a huge part of my life, and having their endless support and like a major thing in my career so far. So I'm excited to keep it.
I know we talked last year at the Fargo Dome when you guys won state. Obviously, Jaden was off to do her thing. You're doing this. Lakin's certainly coming up. I know you're in the middle of it still. But think about your team last year. You have probably 3 Division I players on it. What goes through your mind when I say that?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, just to see how far we've changed even in a year.
Yeah.
Jaden's career has just started, but she's finding so much success and happiness, and I'm so happy for her. And I mean, a year ago, I had no idea where I was going. Like, so, I mean, to have that closure sort of now has been immense, has been like crazy, phenomenal. And, wherever Lakin goes, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm excited to see where her path takes her. And, we're going to stay close no matter what. Anytime Jaden's back in town, we have coffee with her. We go hang out. We're just such a tight-knit group, and I'm just so excited to see our futures.
How much are you just itching to – I know you got AAU, but start next year? Like, are you ready to rip the door off the hinges after what happened at the end of last season?
Oh yeah, we're ready. We're gonna come back even hungrier, come back even like more ready to go. It's my last season, so I know for sure I'm laying it all on the floor no matter what. Yeah, I think this year it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be just a nice last experience to do it with these girls, to keep a lot of the same players again from last year, and just to keep grinding it out. It's gonna be so much fun.
I know yourself, Riley Rutledge is a North Dakota girl. She's part of this class too. Describe that of you're not alone. There's another North Dakota. Granted, the two other commits are from Minnesota, so it's all in the nearby area. How was that a big deal to you at all, or not really?
I mean, it definitely like helped knowing that like I was gonna know some of the people that went there. Riley and I were teammates a couple of years ago on an AAU team, so having that connection with her. Today she actually texted me and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like we're running it back. We're teammates again. Like it's going to be so much fun." And the other two, I would say acquaintances, I play against them quite a bit. So we're friendly, we know each other. So just like knowing that I'm going to be surrounded in a community like that and with those girls, it's big. It was really cool to know them.
Did you celebrate last night, tonight, or what? Do you have plans to do that, or what?
I mean, I think we're gonna celebrate tonight. I think my family's gonna go maybe out to eat somewhere, and we're just gonna have fun, celebrate. Hopefully, I can get my dad to get some horns up.
And now, no more like direct messages, text, like you've been doing this basically nonstop for 2.5 years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How excited to have that be done?
Oh, I'm so excited just to have that like stress off. Obviously, like I'm so grateful for the experience of it all, but it's a big relief.
There's our conversation I had shortly after Jordan Christofferson announced her commitment to play basketball for the Bison women, and that's a big deal for NDSU, and this goes back to a conversation we had yesterday with Madison McKeever. And my point being, when we were done with my conversation with Maddie yesterday, that I distinctly remember during the time frame when she was going through the recruiting process, NDSU was nowhere to be found there. And whatever, Winger, Erskine, McIntosh is 45 minutes from Fargo North, right? Maybe an hour, 15 minutes. Those kind of players have to be under the radar here. And NDSU's done a way better job on that since Jory Collins, Dylan Geiser, Jamie Adams are on the staff. I'm just looking at the all-state team that was announced in March for AA basketball. That means the top class in North Dakota. Lily Bell going to Oklahoma. Lakin Donnelly, who just wrapped up her sophomore year, already has a handful of offers, including both North Dakota schools. I believe St. Thomas as well in the mix. Fallon Passanante from Fargo Davies, tremendous player. Maggie Fricke's going to play at UND next year. Christofferson now is just committed to NDSU. That was the first team. The second team, Marley Falcon, has about 15 offers from Bismarck Legacy, who's heading into her senior year. Mattia Messer from Bismarck St. Mary's, a great player, just wrapped up her career. Riley Sievert has had a tremendous start to her first 3 years of varsity basketball, has at least 10 offers, like Colorado State among them. Quinn Scari, a great player at Davies. And the last player is Anna Claire Bugby, who we just had on the show yesterday from Mandan, who just wrapped up her sophomore year. My point on this is that these are the players that you may not get them. You may not get any of them in relation to our football chat about the class of 27 football guys. But you got to at least be in the conversation. And if it's a token offer, however you want to describe it, at least you could say we were there first or we were there early on. She may have gotten better beyond the Summit League and beyond our grasp, but at least we were in. Because the worst condemnation you can get from fans, fan base, is were you even talking? Were you even in the like? Did you get interested like way after the fact? Because that or never offered to begin with. Sam Hybe's a great example. Sam, one of my all-time favorite players from Moorhead. The Bison finally were talking to her after Nebraska offered. Like, you got no chance. The Gophers were in. Like, it was It was so bad. I'm trying to think of the right word to – heinous is the right word to describe the way the local players were recruited about 10 years ago. Thankfully, it's much different now. And I'm not saying every local player has to stay here. That's not my point. But at least you got to be in the conversation. You want to be relevant? If you've got that level of talent around here, you got to at least pay attention. They're doing that now. Appreciate Jordan giving us a few minutes there. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We'll put a bow on things, get you ready for day 2 of the state track meet. Got to show you another champion from yesterday out in Bismarck and get you ready for the holiday weekend. Hot Mike will wrap on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, wrapping things up. Yeah, Baby Yoda taking... this has been... Grogu has been on the set maybe as long as I have. Mandalorian debuted on Disney Plus in 2019, shortly after we started. We started in 2019. And when we moved into here off of radio, that was one of the first things I made sure we had on. And so now, this weekend, he gets his big screen debut. I'll be heading there. I believe the fam is coming with. Jackman's very excited about it. It's a little long. It's over 2 hours. We haven't had a Star Wars movie in 7 years because the last one stunk so bad that they blew it up and everything's been on television since. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I know the rest of us nerds are probably in the same boat on that. Full review. I'm out Monday. Sam will be here back on Tuesday to provide a mini review on it. I won't give any spoilers away, but it's a huge movie summer. We got this. I'm very excited. Toy Story 5 comes out next month. I'm pretty pumped about that. There's a new Spider-Man movie coming this summer, so let's go. This is the official kickoff of that with The Mandalorian and Grogu. We'll see. One other track highlight I wanted to show from yesterday. She was the star last year as a 7th grader, Hillsboro's Claire Grindy. She won 3 separate state championships a year ago. Well, yesterday in the girls' Class B 3,200, and you heard Owen mention her, she goes and does this, wins it again for the 2nd year in a row. And for the 2nd year in a row, it wasn't even close that Grindy wins in the 32. Last year, she won 3 separate events, and she's poised to do it again here in 2026. You'll see her all weekend. She was one of the stars of the state track meet a year ago, and I have a feeling we're going to see her again quite a bit over the next couple days. 10:45:49 to win the event for the 2nd consecutive season. She also won cross country, much like Owen Johnson did. The only thing different about Claire, she's in the 8th grade. She won 3 state championships last year. Won the 800, she won the 1600, she won the 3200. Other than that, she didn't have a great meet. So congratulations to Claire Grindy from Hillsboro. When we do our best of the weekend on Monday, I have a feeling she's going to probably work her way into that if she's able to repeat what she did last year. So good stuff out of that. We got a ton to get to here. Let's do some what to watch before we get out. Okay, here we go. State track meet is underway. You can actually stream events right now on WDAY Plus. Hopefully you've been doing that while watching us. Television coverage will begin later today here on Extra at 1 o'clock. They'll get on the track, and we'll have the first event is the 1,600-meter run in Class B. So you'll see our guy Owen Johnson right away at 1 o'clock. The final race of the day is at 5. So we're going to be on from about 1, I'd say, till about 6 o'clock today with live TV coverage. You can stream everything as well on WDAY+. After that wraps up, well, there's plenty of other events going on tonight. The Twins are in action as they take on the Red Sox. That's at 6 o'clock on Twins TV for that one tonight. We got Game 3 of the Thunder and the Spurs. Series tied at a game apiece. That should be fun tonight in San Antonio. That's on NBC. And the Avalanche and the Golden Knights, 7 o'clock on ESPN. That's Game 2 of that series from Denver. Then tomorrow, join us back for a full day on the track tomorrow live from Bismarck. Coverage begins tomorrow bright and early, 11 a.m. The first running event gets going with the 300-meter hurdles tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then you eventually got everything else going, including the Indy 500 Sunday on Fox. That'll wrap things up. Our thanks to our guests today, to Jordan Christofferson, to Owen Johnson, to Cory Provus. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching. See you then.